Happy birthday, Marines. No, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. Happy birthday, Marines. What a beautiful day. I mean, you couldn't even, I couldn't have prayed for a day this good. I mean, it's just beautiful. Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Waybright. I am the head brewer here at Flood Zone Brewery. Thank you. Thank you. 30 years ago, I stepped on the yellow footprints at Parris Island and earned the title United States Marine. I got a little housekeeping here before we get started. A mask must be worn at all times here in the beer garden when away from your table and moving about, unless seated, eating, or drinking. We ask that you keep your group size to 6 people and social distance. This will be strictly enforced. Thank you. I would ask you all to please stand, remove your hats, and remain standing for the presentation of colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the national anthem sung by Kelsey Sanders. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very good. Thank you. We will now have the Marine Corps prayer by Marine Mike Stonecypher.
Almighty Father, whose command is over all and whose love never fails, make me aware of thy presence and obedient to thy will. Keep me true to my best self, guarding me against dishonesty in purpose and deed and helping me to live so that I can face my fellow Marines, my loved ones, and thee without shame or fear. Protect my family. Give me the will to do the work of a Marine and to accept my share of responsibilities with vigor and enthusiasm. Grant me the courage to be proficient in my daily performance. Keep me loyal and faithful to my superiors and to the duties my country and Marine Corps have entrusted to me. Make me considerate of those committed to my leadership. Help me to wear my uniform with dignity, and let it remind me daily of the traditions which I must uphold. If I am inclined to doubt, steady my faith. If I am tempted, make me strong to resist. If I should miss the mark, give me courage to try again. Guide me with the light of truth and grant me wisdom by which I may understand the answer to my prayer. Amen. Happy birthday, Marines.
Honor Guard, post the colors.
Wheel left, forward, detail, present, repair, post, post. Take one step back. And salute. Ready, two, port, on, about, face, detail, mark time, mark, detail, report, forward, forward, mark. Detail, pull. Order on. Detail dismissed.
Okay, I just want to do a little background here. Why we're doing this event today? Y'all may have noticed the M16 crate up here in front of the stage. I made that. It's not authentic. But it has some very important numbers on there to me. That was my platoon number in boot camp. Platoon 3105, 3rd Battalion, Parris Island. For the past 5 or 6 years, a few of us have been getting together from that platoon on the birthday. Well, this particular year, we didn't really have any place to go. We went to Cookies in the past, a couple years back. Then we moved on to Quantico to the Marine Corps Museum. For those of you who have never been to the Marine Corps Museum, it's really an amazing place. If you've never been there, you must stop. I've been there quite a few times, and every time I go, it's an amazing learning thing. And it brings back so many memories. But anyway, those guys are the reason why we're here today, and I want to recognize my guys from 3105. Only 2 of them could make it today, but that's all right. 3105, give it up. Thank you, guys. And what better place to have a Marine Corps birthday than a brewery, right? I mean, we started in a tavern, so we got to, you know. Yeah. All right. Right now, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Maryland, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford.
I was just saying to Keith, how come his battery mates look younger than him? But maybe it's been all the beer. I don't know. Good afternoon, everyone. It is great to be here. Actually, I'm honored to be here. A little earlier this morning, I was over in New Windsor with the pinning of the Vietnam vets, and it was a celebration put on with the Reefs Across America. And so when I found out that this ceremony was taking place, or the celebration of the Marine Corps 245th birthday, I was hopeful I could stop through, and I was allowed to by the brewery and everyone else, and I'm just honored to be here to celebrate with you and just point out something that you already know, that our veterans are the most selfless, self-sacrificing folks in the world, not just here in the United States. And we all appreciate, those of us in government that have the privilege and the honor to be able to serve you, we appreciate what you have done, and the fact that we wouldn't have the freedoms, the liberties, the prosperity that we have today, that we're able to enjoy, without the sacrifice that all of you have made. And so, just on behalf of Governor Hogan and myself and our entire administration, I just want to say thank you, and thank you. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done and the sacrifices that you've made. And happy birthday, Marines, look for 245 more and beyond. Thank you again.
Now we'll get to the mayor. Yeah. When I took this job here at the brewery a while back, I got to be very good friends with the next person I'm going to introduce. He's a very good friend, and he's a very, very good customer. At this time, I'd like to introduce you the mayor of Union Bridge, Perry Jones.
And that is right. I'm a very good customer. It's probably every weekend, either Friday or Saturday, this is where we're going to be at. So being that put aside, good afternoon and welcome. It is exciting to have Flood Zone host the 245th birthday party of Marine Corps in the town of Union Bridge. The Marine Corps birthday is officially November the 10th. The Marine Corps birthday is a celebration of Marine Corps history and traditions. It gives us a look at the Corps' past, present, and future. Throughout the world, Marines celebrate the birth of the Corps, even in unsettled places at war zones. Please take the time to walk or ride through our town and look at the display of banners that we have for our military people that we are proud to display on our poles in town. God bless them all, and God bless the USA. At this time, Keith, if you come forward, I have something for you. The Town of Union Bridge and the Mayor and Town Council, this is a proclamation in recognition of 245th birthday of United States Marines. The Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Union Bridge proclaims that November the 10th is officially designated as United States Marine Corps Day. With respectfully thank you for your service and your dedication, signed by the Mayor and Town Council. Thank you very much. We have some very special people in Union Bridge. We have a lot of Marines. We have a lot of Army people that have been living in this town. But at this time, I'd like to introduce a Gold Star family that we have in town. Michael and Carol Ann Cartwright. Mike and Carol Ann. They are the proud parents of Staff Sergeant Charles I. Cartwright. Charles was killed in action in Afghanistan November the 7th, 2009, 11 years ago this day. I told Mike and Charlie to tell Carol Ann that I was going to recognize them today because I didn't want it to be a surprise. And we have to stop back and think, you know, it's been 11 years, and not only did Mike serve in the Marines, but his son also. Charlie joined the Marine Corps while he was still in high school at Walkersville High School. His first full day at Paris Islands was 9/10/2001. We all know what happened the following day. He said all the recruits knew where they probably wanted to go heading following graduation. After basic, he went to go to school at infantry training at Camp Lejeune. He graduated honor man from SOI, and his first choice was to continue his training. He chose California, Camp Pendleton, and he was also wanted to surf and decided that would be a good place to go to learn how to surf. He was assigned to 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. His training proceeded to Scout Swimmer, Scout Sniper, First Force Recon, which became MARCSOC, then graduated Jump School at Fort Benning and Halo School in Yuma, Arizona. When Iraq was invaded, the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines were at the forefront of the force. Charlie went on to complete 2 more combat tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. His second tour of Afghanistan is where he was killed in a mission against the Taliban. Charlie was in an elite group known at the time as MARCSOC, Marine Special Operations Command. The command has since reverted to the older name Marine Raiders. In 2011, Charlie was awarded the Silver Star in connection with his military operations against the enemy. Later on, please take time to talk to Mike and Carol Ann and thank them for the sacrifice that Charlie gave to this country. I must say, the whole time when Charlie enlisted and he come home for leave, anytime that he came home, he made a point to stop by and see my brother and myself. He never came home without seeing us. And remember, he's just a little guy. He grew up, he's a wonderful man. So thank you for your service. At this time, I would like to introduce Delegate Haven Shoemaker. A very good friend of mine. Haven and I go a long ways back. When he was on town council in Hampstead, he became mayor, he became delegate. We've been friends for a long time. And anytime that something is going on in the town of Union Bridge, Haven is always here to be with us. So, Haven.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and happy birthday, Marines. I'm glad that you all let an Army guy come up here and say a few words. You know, in the face of the pandemic that we're going through, I knew if there was a group that was hale and hearty enough to show up for an auspicious occasion like this, it would be a bunch of devil dogs. So, congratulations for showing up. We appreciate it. And we know that Marines throughout the 245-year history have weathered a lot worse than that. So God bless you all. Now, I was able to smuggle out of Annapolis a citation in recognition of your birthday today. It's from the Maryland General Assembly. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to the United States Marine Corps in recognition of its 245th birthday. We celebrate and are thankful for their faithful service and sacrifice. And it's presented the 10th day, because that's your birthday, the 10th day of November 2020, and it's signed by Senator Reedy, Delegate Krebs, Delegate Rose, and me. So happy birthday, Marines.
Thank you so much. It has become a tradition that during the birthday that we read the message that General Lejeune gave us. So I'm going to read that message. On November 1st, 1921, John A. Lejeune, 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, directed that a reminder of honorable service of the Corps be published by every command to all Marines throughout the globe on the birthday of the Corps. Since that day, the men and women of our Corps have continued to distinguish themselves on many battlefields and foreign shores, in war and peace. On this birthday of the Corps, therefore, in recognition of the will of the 13th Commandant, a reminder of the Corps' honorable service is published as follows. On November 10, 1775, a Corps of Marines was created by a resolution of the Continental Congress. Since that date, many thousands of men have borne the name Marine. In memory of them, it is fitting that we who are Marines should commemorate the birthday of the Corps by calling to mind the glories of its long and illustrious history. The record of our Corps is one of which bears comparison with that of the most famous military organizations in the world's history. During 90 of the 146 years of its existence, the Marine Corps has been in action against national foes. From the Battle of Trenton to Argonne, Marines have won foremost honors in war, and in the long era of tranquility at home, generation after generation of Marines have grown gray in war in both hemispheres and in every corner of the 7 seas, so that our country and its citizens might enjoy peace and security. In every battle and skirmish since the birth of the Corps, Marines have acquitted themselves with the greatest distinction, winning new honors on each occasion, until the term Marine has come to signify all that is highest in military efficiency and soldierly virtue. The high name of distinction and soldierly repute we who are Marines today have received from those who preceded us in the Corps. With it, we will always receive from them the eternal spirit which has animated our Corps from generation and has long been distinguishing mark of Marines in every age. So long as that spirit continues to flourish, Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future as they have been in the past. and the me of our nation will regard us as worthy successors of the long line of illustrious men who have served as soldiers of the sea since the founding of our Corps. The timeless message of our 13th Commandant has left its marks in the hearts and minds of all the Marines, past and present, by deed and act, from Belleau Wood to Argonne, from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, from Incheon to the Korean Armistice, from the hard fights in Vietnam to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, to this century's longest wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and in the hundreds of other places where Marines have distinguished themselves. Marines have continued to epitomize the qualities which are their legacy, the success which the men and women who have earned the title Marine have achieved in combat, and the faith that they have borne in peace will endure forever. The Commandant and our many friends have added their heart praise and congratulations on this, our 245th birthday. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce retired Sergeant Major Elaine Stem to read the Commandant's 2020 birthday message.
There is this new dynamic and uncertain environment that has impacted how we recruit and train Marines, deploy aboard ship, and even how we honor our Corps' hallowed traditions. But adapting to change and uncertainty is nothing new for Marines. It is what we have done for 245 years and what is expected of us as the nation's force in readiness. Where others see challenges, Marines see opportunity. We don't take a knee. We will always be ready to answer the nation's call, no matter the crisis. In a world of seemingly relentless change and uncertainty, some things remain constant: our core values: honor, courage, and commitment. These values are at the very heart of our ability to be most ready when the nation is least ready. While our core values might never change, the way we give life to them requires constant vigilance. Commemorating the 245th birthday of our Corps offers us a chance to reflect on our history. We who serve today stand upon the shoulders of giants. While this year's many challenges are significant and unique, it is important to remember that our nation and Corps have endured difficult times in our past. For example, this year marks the 75th anniversary of the brutal battles in the Pacific, when soldiers of the sea defied the term uncommon valor on the black sands of Iwo Jima. The 70th anniversary of the bitter fighting in Incheon and Chosin Reservoir. 55 years since Marines landed at Da Nang, and a decade since our struggle with the Taliban in Helmand River Valley. We remember the service and sacrifice of all Marines and honor the legacy passed down through the generations. From the past, we draw strength, pride, and a responsibility to carry on the warfighting heritage our predecessors built. As has been seen in the case in the past, today's threats require us to fight as a cohesive team, and our ability to succeed will depend on the honor, courage, and commitment of each individual Marine. We remain dedicated to developing the world's finest warfighters, guided by our core values. Never forget, what you do today becomes the foundation for the generation of Marines that will follow. There is no challenge we cannot overcome together by holding fast to our core values. Happy 245th birthday, David H. Berger, General, United States Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. I wanted to make note that today's Commandant, General Berger, was raised in Woodbine, Maryland. So he's from Carroll County. I just wanted to let everybody know that. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to talk for a while. Where's Dave Green? There he is. Raise your hand up, Dave. All right, Dave Green and I brewed a spice. I've got to talk about beer. I got to talk about beer a little bit. Dave Green and I brewed a spiced Belgian wit a few weeks ago, special for this event. It is spiced with orange peel, coriander, seeds of paradise. Two Devil Dogs brewing beer. Use your imagination on how that went. We called this beer Bellawood Tuffelhunden. For those who do not know, in June of 1918, World War I, German forces occupied Bellawood in France. We got our nickname Devil Dogs from official German reports, which called the Marines at Bellawood Tuffelhunden. It was said that this nickname came about from Marines being ordered to take a hill occupied by German forces while wearing gas masks as a precaution against German mustard gas. While the Marines fought their way up the hill, the heat caused them to sweat profusely, foaming at the mouth and turning their eyes bloodshot. And at some points, the hill was so steep it caused the Marines to climb it on all fours. From the Germans' vantage point, they witnessed a pack of tenacious, growling figures wearing gas masks with bloodshot eyes and mouth foam seeping from the sides, advancing up the hill, sometimes on all fours, killing everything in their way. As the legend goes, the German soldiers, upon seeing this spectacle, began to yell that they were being attacked from dogs of hell. So we got a very limited supply. I guess there's still some up there. I don't know. We got a very limited supply. Get a pint while it lasts. And thank you, Dave Green. It was fun, and we're gonna brew together again soon. All right. So most of you have noticed this jacket here to my left. We're going to talk about this jacket here. The building beside us here, where Flood Zone is housed, initially started as a grocery store in 1966. It was opened up by Elwood Myers. And today I want to recognize Elwood Myers. Elwood's sitting over here at the picnic table. Stand up, Elwood. Elwood is a Marine Corps boxer. He enlisted in December 7th, 1953 and served till December 7th, 1956. Basic training in Parris Island, South Carolina, then was stationed in Quantico, Virginia, where he joined the U.S. Marine boxing team. Elwood had bouts all over the United States and had an impressive record. A record so good that he qualified to fight in California for the Olympic trials for the 1956 Melbourne Olympics. Elwood was the last to fight to qualify and lost to Pete Rademacher. Is that right, sir? Who went on to win the gold for the U.S. against his Russian opponent. This is his gear. This is his warm-up coat from his boxing in the Marine Corps. Give it up for Elwood Myers. Thank you, sir. At this time, I want to introduce to you our guest speaker. I got to meet this guy about a month or two ago. We sat back here at a table, and I could have talked to him for hours and hours and hours. We're We roughly went in the Marine Corps at the same time, so we had a lot of stuff going on. However, my path didn't go anywhere near his. He's from Denver, Colorado. Gunnery Sergeant Glen Silva. He was hold on, Glenn. He's from Denver, Colorado. While deployed in Afghanistan in 2010, Gunny Silva stepped on an improvised explosives device that weighed approximately 20 pounds. He lost his left leg among other injuries in the blast. He has undergone 53 surgeries to date and has a few more to go. Gunny Silva has been awarded the Bob Hansen Distinguished Service Award. The Marine Corps named a leadership award after him, the Gunnery Sergeant Glen Silva Leadership Award. His service awards include a Purple Heart, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, 5 times with one with Combat V for Valor, 3 Combat Action Medals, Joint Meritorious Unit Award, Navy Unit Commendation 4 times, Good Conduct Medal 4 times, National Defense Medal twice, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terror Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terror Service Medal, Armed Forces Service Medal, Humanitarian Service Medal twice, Sea Service Deployment 8 times, NATO Medal twice. Please welcome Gunnery Sergeant Glen Silva.
All right, well, that's about it for me. Thank y'all for coming out. Well, happy birthday, Marines. So this whole time I sat there thinking about what I should speak about, because I never ever go into these speaking things knowing what I'm going to say. And when we got here, it was really impressed upon me to kind of tell a little bit about my story and what happened to me when I got blown up. So I'll tell a little bit about that and then kind of wrap it up and bring it up to where we're at now. October 12th, 2010, I was with 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. I was a then staff sergeant, and I was the operations chief. So an operations chief, we don't do anything. We sit in the command center and we direct our Marines to do what they're told to do and go figure out the battlefield for us so we can direct our forces. But the Marine Corps I came up in, and many of you all came up in, is you lead from the front. You don't lead from the rear, sitting on your butt. So I'm out there teaching my guys what to do and going out on patrols with them because many of them, that was their first deployment in actual combat. On October 12th, 2010, I had sent a squad out to go take a look at a compound that was suspected of making IEDs. We couldn't figure out where it was. We finally narrowed it down. I went with them. Where it was at, you had to go in on foot. You can go in vehicles. And whenever I jumped in with my squad leaders, I let them stay in charge because that's how they learn. They don't learn from the staff sergeant telling them what to do. They learn from them doing it and making mistakes. I was just there to kind of guide them or put my boot up their rear end if they made a mistake. Regardless to say, we found an IED making compound. We also found a cave system that ran underneath all the compounds, which is why we couldn't find most of the bad guys that were running around in our area. On our way out, my squad leader looked at me and said, "Hey, Staff Sergeant, can you take 3rd man in the patrol out of here?" Sure. So when you're in IED-laden country, you always keep your head on a swivel, looking down and stepping in the person's boot prints that are in front of you. You're always, every once in a while, taking a look down, making sure that you're in those boot prints because technically or theoretically it's supposed to be cleared because somebody's already stepped there. Well, 3 of my guys stepped on the boot print or the IED. It didn't go off. When I stepped on it, I won bingo. So, you know, it was my time. I had a blast, basically. I went flying through the air. I don't remember a lot. I just remembered, wow, why did it all of a sudden get dark? The sun was out and now it's dark. I remember yelling at my Marines and telling them, hey, get a head count, make sure nobody's injured. Get in a 360 because we're getting attacked. We started taking small arms fire. Within a matter of milliseconds, they came back, hey, we're up. We're in a 360. They were returning fire like Marines are supposed to do. Well, now I'm sitting there thinking, good God, my Marines are waiting on the old man of the Marine Corps here, and I can't even move. What's going on? I couldn't see anything because the dust and dirt was flying. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Kept trying to stand up, couldn't figure out what was going on. Pretty soon, one of my scout snipers comes running back, a sergeant. He jumps on top of me, and he's like, hey, Staff Sergeant, just relax. I got you. Well, now that infuriates me because I'm like, what in the heck are you doing, bud? I need you out there freaking looking out, you know, killing bad guys, keeping us safe. About that time, I realized something was wrong when he just stayed on top of me and kind of froze. And that's not normal for most of my Marines that were under my care. And I started to say, you know what, maybe I need to reassess why I'm laying here all of a sudden. The dirt and dust started to settle a little bit, and as it did, I could see, maybe off in the distance, probably where about that tent starts from me. I said, wow, that's interesting. That looks like my boot over there. When did I get that tall? And then I thought, oh, no, that's my leg laying over there. That's why I can't stand up. I started to self-assess and realized that I had, in fact, stepped on an IED, that I was the casualty and I needed to just shut my mouth and let my Marines do their job. The problem was a lot of my Marines were scared because now they've seen their senior enlisted guy that's put them through training, through the whole workup and everything. You know, here I am split open. I got split like a wishbone all the way up to my sternum and gutted. I could hear the whistling of my lungs deflating and reinflating as I was trying to fight to take a breath. And I could, you know, obviously see all the blood pouring out of my body. And I could also, the reason I couldn't feel anything when I was trying to dig was my left forearm down to my fingertips was shredded down to the bone. So it was my bone that was trying to dig and not my hand. I told my sergeant, well, let's get to it. You know what to do, start getting tourniquets on and keep everybody else out of here because there's likely a secondary or tertiary IED. You know, that's pretty common practice over there. There's this thing that's called, you've got a golden hour. You've got about an hour to get to a major medical place where you've got an actual doctor there that can, you know, that has more life-sustaining capabilities rather than just our Navy corpsmen. Well, where we were at, we couldn't get any helicopters to land. We were in a hot LZ, and none of the American helicopters could land. I remember I, you know, stayed pretty calm, cool, and collective, and pretty in control of the situation until about that, I'd say 30, 35-minute mark when I started saying, yeah, okay, you know what, maybe I'm not going to make this. And, you know, my corpsman by that time was on me and was like, hey, you know, Staff Sergeant, you got this, come on, you got this. And it was about the hour mark when a bird finally landed, and it happened to be a British helicopter, believe it or not. And at the time, they were the only ones that were doing live blood transfusions. Now all American, well, most of the American birds do it now, but at the time, the British were the only ones that were doing it. So thankfully, my Marines, my corpsmen, and then having that bird that was a British bird that landed, doing the blood transfusions, all that attributed to saving my life. And obviously the God, you know, great God above, he obviously needed to keep me around for something. And for the life of me, I think it's just to terrorize my significant other over here, but still trying to figure that out. But I stayed in the Marine Corps after that. I remember waking up at Walter Reed, or Bethesda Naval at the time, and being told, all right, well, we medically retire everybody once you've been injured in combat. And I said, well, you can kiss my rear end. I'm staying in. Like, you know, are you kidding me? You guys just combat meritoriously promoted me to gunny. I'm sticking around. You guys, it's a waste of money to sit there and, you know, kick me out. I know more than I've forgotten. Let's go. And thankfully, I had the audience of the assistant commandant and the then commandant of the Marine Corps, and they wound up telling me if I can meet the physical requirements to stay in the infantry, well, then they'd grant it. Well, I don't think they really believed that I was going to do it. So I went down in the basement there at Bethesda Naval, and I broke several prosthetic legs and ripped up my sutures several times, and got yelled at by every one of my doctors because I kept ripping things open and causing more damage. But But I was granted the right to stay in the Marine Corps on active duty as a gunnery sergeant in the infantry. I deployed back to Afghanistan 2 more times, not because the Marine Corps asked me to, but because I've always been a firm believer if you get knocked off that horse, you get back up on it. And plus, being a gunnery sergeant then, we have to set the example for our younger Marines. If they can sit there and see that we're going to keep getting back up on that horse and keep staying in the fight no matter what's happened to us, that's going to encourage them. That's going to embolden them to see that mission through. So I felt a very heavy burden on my shoulders to continue that in the capacity that I was at. I wound up doing 5 years after I got blown up, 5 years in the Marine Corps. After that second deployment, or third actually, to Afghanistan, I wound up going down to Quantico and teaching at the basic school to teach young officers how to be officers, basically. And then was approached and said, well, hey, we want you to do this in the Marine Corps. And I said, well, whenever I get to 20, let me know. And they said, well, hell, Gunny, you're at 24. And I said, well, get me out of here. I'm done. And so I, at that point in time, decided that I needed to spend time with, you know, my children and my significant other, and that's what I've chosen to do at this point in time. I still go around and I still try to speak publicly. We live out in the Gettysburg area now. We have a home there. And I still try and go out and speak to veterans because I think it's important that we remember where we come from. And I guess the reason that I agreed to tell a little bit about my story is that that's the importance, isn't it? Is that my one story of my 24 years of service, I'm sure if we had every Marine that's out there could tell their own story. But it's important that we remember those stories, because if we don't, the very foundation of what we stand for as Marines goes away. It ends. It's over. But if we remember those stories, and yeah, sure, is it hard? You know what? I hate talking about my freaking injury. I can't stand it. But you know what? If it can help somebody out there that's in an audience that's listening, by God, it's my responsibility to sit here and tell it. Just like it's everybody else's responsibility to tell your stories. Get out there and speak about them. Maybe you start off talking to other Marines or maybe other service members, but you know what? It's important. That's what makes us Marines. You can join the Army, you can join the Navy, you can join the Air Force, but by God, you can't join the Marine Corps. You got to become a Marine. And every Marine here that's celebrating that Marine Corps birthday, by God, you should know that. And I'm going to leave you all with one last challenge. And I'll stop running my mouth so we can keep going on with the celebration. I challenge each and every one of y'all to wake up every morning and look at yourself in the mirror and say, what are you doing to make things better than you found them? Each and every day. I'm not talking about going out and raising $1 million and curing cancer and all that, but by God, if you can, great. But what are you doing? Take stock in the little things that you're doing. And then I'm going to add one little caveat. Remember that you're a Marine. I don't care when you retired. I don't care if you did 2 years, 4 years, you did see combat, you didn't see combat. You're still a Marine. And that's our responsibility. That's how we improve our situation where we're at. Yeah, hey, you could disagree or agree with the politics that are going on. It doesn't matter. What matters is what we're doing to help each other out. You want to lower suicide? You want to lower homelessness in the veteran community? Then by God, let's start taking care of each other. That's our responsibility, not the government's. I know, I'm up here ranting. I'm sorry. Happy birthday. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm still above ground. And let's get on with this celebration, shall we? Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Gunny. We're going to bring the cake out. We're going to have a little cake. How old is Elwood? 86. 86. So far, he's the oldest Marine. Anyone here older than 86? I don't think so. Anybody younger than 26 that's a Marine? All right. We're going to do the Marine Corps hymn. Please stand. It's a tradition that the Marine Corps birthday cake is to be cut with a Mameluke sword, as a reminder that we are a band of warriors committed to carrying the sword so that our nation may live in peace. I'm going to cut the cake. The first piece will go to Gunnnery Sergeant Silva as our honored guest. And the second will go to the oldest Marine, Elwood Myers. And the third piece will go to, hold on, let me find his name. William Van Hort. So if you three gentlemen would come up here, please.
Yep.
All right, I got a few other things here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Later on, they'll be coming around with the cake, and if you'd like a piece, they'll cut you a piece of cake. And don't come up to the cake; we'll come to you. At this time, I would like to thank all who made this celebration possible. Union Bridge Fire Company, Chad Green. The Lance Corporal Dean Detachment of the Marine Corps League out of Mount Airy. Thank you guys. The Honor Guard. Dave Green, Jr. Mark Fisher, he helped me a little bit. Thank you, Mark. Robert McCurdy, our bagpiper. Lehigh Cement Company. Brenda and Mike Stonecypher. Retired Sergeant Major Elaine Stem. Gunnery Sergeant Glen Silva. Mayor Perry Jones. Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford. Peanut Small and From the Gray. Thank you, Peanut, for the sound system. Great. Kelsey Sanders, our beautiful singer for the national anthem. Give it up for her, huh? That was awesome. Flood Zone Marketplace and Brewery. And Jerry and Beth Stanball for letting me do this. Thank you. I got one other thing here before we wrap it up. Veterans Day is on Wednesday, and I want to say a little something about Veterans Day. On Wednesday, November 11th, we will be observing Veterans Day. Veterans Day is intended to thank all those who honorably served in the military in wartime and peacetime. Since 1954, we have honored American veterans of all wars. It's a celebration to honor veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. Our soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guard still up the traditions of valor handed down from generations that preceded them. Veterans have endured great hardships, separation from family, and drastically altered lifestyles. Some have experienced the horrors of war. All sacrificed something so that we could enjoy the freedoms we have today. Thank you for your service. God bless our veterans, and God bless America. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you. Stick around for From the Grave.